My Initial Philosophy of Teaching by Sonia Ambris Garza and Hania Espinosa. Education 1301 MB01. Dr. Diana H. Cortez Castro. My initial philosophy of teaching is gonna be progressivism and Hania's is gonna be constructivism. Sonia's initial philosophy of teaching. My initial philosophy of teaching is progressivism, where the philosophy of progressivism espouses the idea that the focus of education should be students rather than the content, and whatever is taught should be meaningful.
Hania's initial philosophy of teaching. Hi, I'm Hania. My initial philosophy of teaching is constructivism, where constructivism is an approach to teaching and learning that asserts that people actively construct their own understanding of information, that learners combine new information with existing information such as the new knowledge provides personal meaning. In the constructivism viewpoint, people build their own knowledge and their own representations of knowledge from their own experience.
What do both of these philosophical ways of teaching have in common? In the context of education, progressivism and constructivism have a lot of common because they both emphasize student-centered learning, experiential learning, and developing critical thinking and problem-solving abilities. Fundamentally, both constructivism and progressivism aim to establish dynamic, participatory, and student-centered learning environment that enable learners to take charge of their education and cultural lifelong learning abilities. The analysis revealed that participants agree with four of the statements and believe them to be characteristic of their classroom, those dealing with using the students' initial and tendencies to plan education experiences, instruction children in the proper social life, and making educational authentic.
Student-centered learning. Placing students at the center of the learning process is emphasized by both constructivism and progressivism. Students actively interact with the content, investigate ideas, and create their own knowledge, rather than simply absorbing it. Instead of just giving lectures, teachers in both methods serve as facilitators, assisting students.
Experiential learning. Experience-based learning is a fundamental component on both schools of thought. Progressivism emphasizes learning by doing, in which students solve real-world problems and participate in practical experiences. Constructivism also advances the notion that knowledge is created by active involvement and interaction with the outside world. For instance, both strategies may use simulation experiments or projects to assist students understand difficult concepts.
Critical thinking and problem solving. Teaching students how to think rather than just what to think is valued by both constructivism and progressivism. By promoting inquiry, discovery, and critical thinking, they give students the tools that they need to evaluate data, resolve issues, and reach well-informed conclusions.
Collaborative learning. Both strategies stress how crucial social connection is to learning. Progressive and constructivism schools frequently employ group projects, peer conversations, and group work because they think that communication and shared experience improve learning. Building Block 2.11. The goal of education is to enable students to cultivate a passion of lifelong learning, critical thinking, and problem solving abilities. I want my students to succeed academically by be creative and develop social and emotionally, while life skills and The art encourages creativity and freedom. Core courses like physics, arithmetics, and literature are necessary for fundamental understanding. I use experiential, student-centered teaching strategies to engage a variety of learners and provide inclusive, relative learning opportunities. Teachers assist students remember, comprehend, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create by designing, design- designing inclusive, dynamic classes that are in line with Bloom's taxonomy. Level 6 question for you: how will you take what you have heard and create something new with it? By investigating ideas, working together, and taking ownership of their education, thoughts, inquiry, creativity, and problem solving, students actively engage in the learning process and develop critical thinking and practical application abilities. Building
Building block 2.12. For this building block, we were asked to stop and think about what metaphor we would compare teacher to. I describe I would describe a teacher as a gardener. The gardener prepares the soil, plants the seeds, fosters growth, and attends to the needs of the particular plant for its ultimate development. Some need much more sunlight, others require shade. Some must be pruned to grow stronger, while others need to be spread out naturally. Similar would be the environment created by a teacher that allows growth, instruction personalized to needs, encouragement towards their strong points, guiding them through barriers towards successful challenge. The teacher doesn't control how fast or in what direction each student will grow, but helps the natural happening and assists towards full realization. This metaphor reminds me that teaching is not about forcing a particular outcome, but rather fostering growth through patience, care, and adaptability. A nice activity to do for constructivism will be a shape poster. The theme is shapes, obviously. Scavenger hunt activity. Students find objects around the classroom or home that represent the specific shape the shape poster is about. In this case, we will be using a circle. Artifact: a shape poster where students find or glue items they found that are the shape that the poster is focused on. Shape poster step by step. Step 1. Gather your materials. Materials needed are printer paper or construction paper, whichever you like, markers, crayons, glue, and safety scissors. Safety scissors is important. You don't want sharp scissors around younger kids. Step 2. Draw a circle in the middle of the paper. The student can either freehand the circle or trace it. By trace it, I mean place a circular shape and trace it around. Step 3. Look around the classroom or house for things that are shaped like the shape assigned. In this case, we're talking about a circle. The shape can be a lid or the whole thing. However, I chose to only use the lid for this activity. Step 4. Have at least one item on the map that is a pattern of the shape given. So, not every item should be a 3D item. Have at least one thing that has a pattern of circles in it, or squares or triangles, any shape you may choose. Step 5. Very carefully cut the pattern out. Students may do this step using safety scissors, or have an adult cut it out for them. We don't want any accident. Step 6. Design the poster to your liking. Students may use markers and crayons to make the poster their own. You could also use watercolors as long as the paper is strong enough to hold. Step 7. Glue or place the items that they have gathered onto the shaped poster. As shown in the photo below, I used a cap, a top, a lid for a lotion, a clay, a button, and the pattern. Step 8. Turn in the paper. How can a shape poster help the student learn through constructivism? Active exploration and discovery. Students can be allowed to explore shapes around them by using materials such as paper, clothes, and other objects. For instance, students can be taken on a scavenger hunt around the room or their environment to identify different shapes before the actual making of the poster. As they gather examples, they reflect on how shapes are used in the real world, in architecture, nature, art, etc., allowing them to connect their existing knowledge with new concepts. Personalized learning. Students can decide to work with shapes that are more meaningful to them, geometric like triangles or squares, or organic such as clouds or leaf shapes. For example, this automatically makes the concept of shape more relevant and accessible to each student's experience. Creating the poster allows for self-expression as students can decide how to portray the shapes, drawing, cutouts, or even making 3D shapes. Further, this allows them to construct their own knowledge in a hands-on, personalized manner. Collaborative learning. Constructivism values social learning. The Shape Poster project can involve group work in which students collaboratively discuss the properties of different shapes, such as the number of sides and symmetry, and share ideas on how to represent these on the poster. In other words, it encourages peer learning, whereby students explain concepts among themselves, challenge each other, and deepen their own understanding. Reflection and metacognition. Once the poster is created, students can reflect on what they've learned. For example, they can describe the properties of the shapes they include or explain how they group the shapes together. This metacognition practice, thinking about what they have learned, serves to solidify what they've explored.
Scavenger hunt in Nature College. The theme for this activity could be environment or ecosystem. So you're gonna be doing a scavenger hunt activity where it was gonna be depending on the environment, students look for natural objects such as leaves, little sticks, rocks, or flowers. The artifact is gonna be a collage of nature made with the objects gathered. We're gonna give students construction paper and glue so they can artistically arrange the material to depict the concepts they have studied. Some examples can be types of habitats, components of a tree, etc. Scavenger hunt in Nature College. Step by step. For this activity, we're gonna be doing step 1. We're gonna gather your materials. You will need construction paper, markers or crayons, age-appropriate scissors, glue stick or tape. Step 2. We're gonna take the kids to an open place that has nature. This could be their school backyard, a park, or an environmental place. Scavenger hunt in Nature College step by step. Part 2. Step 4. We're gonna make the kids look for and gather natural objects they find laying around. These artifacts can be rocks, leaves, flower, branches, grass, etc. Step 5. We're gonna go back inside and hand out a construction paper. Make sure they add their title and the name. Make sure you remind them their names. Smaller kids tend to forget to add their name in their assignments. Step 6. They're going to glue down or tape down the artifacts they gather in the scavenger hunt. How can a scavenger hunt in Nature College help the students learn through? The scavenger hunt in Nature College is an excellent activity that aligns with progressivism and constructivism philosophy by providing hands-on, experiential learning, and encouraging students to actively engage in their educational journey. Because progressivism places a strong emphasis on experiential learning, kids can actively engage with their surroundings rather than just passively taking in information. Thanks to this treasure hunt, students strengthen their awareness of ecosystems through sensory and physical environment investigation through the collection of natural objects. How can a scavenger hunt in nature collage help the students learn through making educational relevant to students' lives and emphasizes by progressivism they can observe what they're learning, such as the importance of trees in the ecosystem or habitats, is applied in the actual world thanks to the scavenger hunt's connection to their immediate surroundings. The activity empowers students to make choices during scavenger hunt, such as which item to collect and how to design their collage, fostering autonomy and creativity.
Conclusion. What did we learn? Through exploring constructivism and progressivism, we have learned that both philosophies emphasize active student-centered learning. Constructivism focuses on learners building their knowledge through experiences and reflection, while progressivism promotes learning through real-world connection, collaboration, and critical thinking. In both approaches, students are encouraged to explore questions and create meaning from their own experiences. Constructivism values individual learning, while progressivism emphasizes social interaction and problem solving. Working together, they provide the conditions under which students take ownership of learning, connect with the environment, and relate academics to their own life for a deeper, more meaningful education.
Conclusion number 2. How are we going to use this information as a future student? Knowing educational theories like Maslow's hierarchy of needs and multiple intelligence, as well as Bloom's taxonomy, as well as educational philosophies like constructivism and progressivism, can help me as a future teacher design inclusive, meaningful, and situational stimulating learning environments. I can enable students to succeed intellectually and socially by utilizing practical exercises, attending to a variety of students' needs, and encouraging creativity and critical thinking. Active learning, student-centered techniques, and real-world relevance will all help me prepare my students for a success in the real world. This background guarantees that I approach teaching with professionalism, flexibility, and a strong dedication to fostering the potential and overall growth of every children.